5:30 having arrived, call the meeting to order. We'll stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, nobody take a knee. Wow.
2 pigs did it, the pig scramble.
All right, the public hearing for the VZ Park donation should have been put on the next agenda because we don't have enough time to repost it, so we're not going to do that tonight. First up will be Parks and Rec budget review.
Is that a new one, John, or will you tell us when it is?
It should be in there. It should be in your pile.
The new one, oh, okay.
Recreation.
Number?
It's right on your sheet.
Oh, again.
Page numbers?
Page numbers are right on the sheet.
New page.
Page 41, correct?
Correct.
Showing a total balance, a total of $67,433, which is the same as the 2017. And that consists, well, it used to consist of just the
director's salary.
director's salary, and now it does,
It's half of the assistant director.
and half of the assistant
Yep.
at 16,640.
Correct. Nice.
Any questions?
I think it's great they can hold it.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Again, no interviews have been conducted yet, so this
Okay.
is preliminary.
preliminary. Very well. All right, we'll move on. Looks to me like we should start with government buildings, Mark. Go all the way through.
That's a new one.
Government buildings is on
13.
13. Look at that. All right. $109,498, which is up from 89. What do you want to tell us, Mark?
Let me look at it. John and I worked on these together, so,
I'm throwing you in. So we're increasing the part-time employee by $17,000, is that correct?
yes. And maybe John can explain that a little bit more. It's for to replace me, correct, John?
That is correct. And not having placed an ad for the person yet, I have no idea what we're going to eventually end up having to pay this individual. I needed some flexibility, and with the current unemployment rate, I have no idea how hard that's going to be to find someone. I also had to add in mileage of 300, which didn't exist before. for
I
this
had been
individual.
just using my vehicle all the time and just running around, never got any stipend.
So that whole position is going to need reconfiguration, so I've had to accommodate for that.
Yep.
Still at a part-time level. You'll see other increases.
For the library lighting upgrade?
Correct.
Yes.
Now, I will investigate on whether or not we can take advantage of the same Eversource agreement we did with the buildings this year. That program is closed for the year, so we may be able to take
get back in
advantage
it.
of that,
Yeah.
which is done on a yearly payment plan over the course of the life of the contract.
Them lights downstairs are very old. The shades for them lights to replace them is cost more than a light fixture, because they have to be made.
And right now, they're open tubes, which is not the most safe configuration.
No, I wouldn't
And I'd
think
like
so.
to eventually get the building over to LED. Most of the upstairs is now LED. It's just the downstairs that needs to be redone.
Looks like a $1,700 increase in supplies. Rubbish collection is up.
That's just because there's so much, we're just using it more and more, and the supplies for toilet paper, paper towels is up tremendous.
When we have as big of after-school program and summer program that we do, we had an average of
talking
100
about-
children in
Talking
the,
about government buildings, though, which
Correct.
doesn't include the George B. White.
Right, but we do break it up for toilet paper, paper towels and stuff
Okay.
for, like, the 2 fire stations, highway, library.
Is that the 4?
What's that?
Is that the 4 that's covered
Yes,
on the government buildings?
yes.
yes,
Fire stations?
yes. And we order in bulk.
In the winter months, the highway, you know, their usage is up twice as much due to all the contractors.
Which, do all 4 of them have an alarm system? I see Skycom's 2200.
Yep, both fire stations, library, town shed.
Are they more than alarm, are they smoke related too, or?
There's smoke and alarm.
They're all,
They're all automated alarm, goes in the central alarm.
thanks.
Further questions? All right, we'll move on to the George B. White Building, which is on the next page.
Correct.
In the concert?
All right, $115,553, an increase of $48,000.
A decrease, isn't it?
I'm sorry, decrease.
Decrease.
Yeah, I read the wrong column, I'm sorry. You are correct. 115,553.
The decrease is because we've got all the projects done in the building, carpets,
Right.
ceiling tiles, painting, and stuff like that.
That was from 137 to 12.
Right.
Some newer expenditures under, on the first page, under miscellaneous, you'll see the cost for a snow blower for the building.
Mm-hmm.
The new maintenance person will need some kind of equipment to keep the doors and entryways open.
Where will you store that?
In the shed.
We're gonna make room in the
Okay.
existing shed,
Yeah.
yes, it'll be.
I've
stored
always
inside.
been able to use my truck and back drag and shovel and stuff like that.
The other increase you'll see is under capital improvements. There's a proposal to put in a keypad entry system on 3 main doors, which is the 107 entrance, the entrance by the town clerk, tax collector, and possibly the double doors leading
Right,
to
Town and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
With also new doors.
And there is also money in here to put in 2 new double-hung doors. Those original outside doors are too old and they're time to be replaced. If this budget passes and the keypad system goes in, we'll be rekeying the entire building. And there'll only be a select few of people that need entry by key that receive the key. All staff will go in through one of the keypad entries to come to work in the morning.
So the doors that were replaced were these front replace these doors?
No,
and-
the double doors at the end of the hallway here are the original doors to the school. Those are going to be replaced to look like,
Right, I was gonna say the ones we did replace were this
yes,
one's
same company.
and this one.
Right,
Yeah.
same company of all the doors throughout the building.
Excuse me.
And also under capital improvements, you'll see $2,530 to retrofit a portion of the staff break room for a building supervisor office. You'll see the backup behind.
Everything's here from Manchester Glass, all safe.
The only thing you don't have copies of is the estimate for the double doors at the end of the hallway, which I didn't get time to make copies, but I'll have them for you next week.
Further questions?
All set.
All right, we'll move on to Town Hall. Next page.
It's the same basic stuff, maintenance on the sprinkler system, as we just painted the front of the building. Now, next year, you people will do the two sides, and the following year we'll do the rear. So every 3 years, the town hall is completely painted.
All right, so it's $50,012, up from $32,223. Looks like Town Hall maintenance is up
10.
10.
That accounts for the paint of two
Okay.
sides. And the sprinkler maintenance system
Down $1,400,
is
or at least,
up. Or actually,
there's a minus there.
Percentage thing doesn't work out at the end.
oh,
Yeah. So we overspent it this year,
correct.
Right.
but we're gonna take
I'm-
it from $1 to 5,000.
I'm putting the money where it should be in the correct line.
Okay.
We had to expend that under a different line this year because there was necessary sprinkler maintenance. But after the cost that we had to incur this year, I'm putting money in the line where it would be expended properly. That's why you're seeing the odd
Right.
number,
And rubbish collection is up.
yes.
Yes.
With the increased usage of the park, we're finding a lot more frequent pickups.
As well as the town hall usage.
Yep.
So,
The buildings are being utilized to a much greater degree, and that's being reflected in the budget this year.
Indeed. Anybody else with questions?
Yeah, on the heating oil, how'd you break it out at 2,090 at,
Interesting enough, what we have to do is we know what we're paying going forward, and we have to estimate a certain amount of the remaining part of the year, because the contract ends mid part of the year.
And sometime in, what, August?
I wouldn't think we were buying much in August.
April. The heating season
We're
goes
good, too.
October to April or June.
6 months. So what would he have to do to get that so it was another 2 months?
We could change the way we bid for heating oil and get it from January through December.
We
right
didn't
now, we do not, we bid it from,
Right,
when we bid it out, from midway to midway.
right.
And we've always done this in the past for the last several years, because one price is one price and the other contract's a different price sometimes.
Right, but why couldn't we do the bid like we did in the summer when we should, but have it go? Even if it went,
You'd have to do that, but you have to specify in the contract, because like Rhymes has it now until May
May,
1st.
yeah.
And then we don't send out the bid again until August.
Because we wait till the
Right.
price is adequate to bid it out.
well, I bet you we
Cheapest.
don't buy a lot of oil from May 1st to August.
I've always tried to have the
I don't at
tanks
home.
filled up.
Yeah.
I've
What's
always,
that, sir?
I've always tried to have the tanks filled up in April, under the contract that we have.
We should.
When we go out to bid next year, we
Makes
can
sense.
specify an actual time period. So if we say August to the end of July and get a solid bid, then you'll see one price here. We just need to specify in the language.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to water holes. Which is, what's that?
I just went up $500 just because we've added 2 cisterns to it for next year. There
Talking
is,
about fire hose, we haven't even turned the page. Hold on a second.
23.
All right, $7,463, up $1,300. Go ahead, Mark.
hold on just a minute, I gotta find it.
Wait a minute, you were just talking about it.
I had it in my brain, but
Oh, that's a dangerous thing.
can't find it. Judge B. White.
Water hose is up $500.
Yes, water hose is up $500 due to the fact that we've added one more cistern in the center of town hours, and there will be another one installed probably next 2 weeks over to the new development on Middle Road.
But there was also a reduction in the telephone costs. It went from $950 down to $712.
Who carries that phone?
It was split between the fire chief and
The cost, not the
the
phone?
cost.
The cost was split between the fire department, government buildings, and forest fire.
Okay.
Now, my phone will go all to forest fire.
You're only showing a net increase of 260, right?
Correct. Because you had a reduction
Right.
above.
Forest.
It's good.
Looks good. All right, let's go to the meat. The fire department on page 21.
Could I have just a minute,
Yes.
Jim? I just, as this will be my last budget for all government buildings and town hall and George B. White, I'd like to thank the board for all the support they've given me for the last 24-plus years on all the budgets. It's been a pleasure to work with you people.
Same here, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, we're on page 21. Fire department, we're at $194,426. If I am correct, that is up 91,000?
That's correct.
$91,752. We're looking at,
That's over actual rather than, actual to date rather than budget.
yeah, it doesn't seem to me that
Isn't it only
157,
54?
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
157,360 being the actual of last year to 194,426.
That difference of 91 is from the actual, which is not all expended to
Right.
date.
Okay.
Right, so it is
All
less than that. The budget is 157, the new budget is 194.
Right.
Okay.
Until that actual is fully expended, you won't have that
Right.
difference. Being so early in the year, there's still
It's
a lot to go.
down, it's down 31,000 on protective gear.
That's correct.
What do we?
Because protective gear, we had it based on all the air packs we bought
Okay.
this year. And.
How many more do we need?
We're all set.
We're all done.
We're all done.
Okay.
There's a lot of zeros here, chief.
We're in very good shape, Faz.
Actually, we're down more than that in protective gear. Down,
This isn't accurate.
It's in the package we got tonight.
Last
down
year's
40.
budget,
down 44.
Because I think it was 62,000, something like that.
62.4.
62.4.
62.4 last year and 18,510 this year.
Right.
That's correct.
Thanks, Jeff.
So that number on the right-hand side, John, is from actual?
Yes,
Okay,
Right.
and there's no way to change that.
that's all right. Building maintenance and repairs is up big, 14,000, is that?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was for, to propose, rooms upstairs, office, wiring.
That's a combination of the actual construction and electric. You'll see estimates behind your
Okay,
budgets, as well as minimal furniture, a bed, a nightstand, and a light. And again, those are just general estimates, it's not final.
mm-hmm. Is $12,280 enough for vehicle maintenance?
We've always had that cushion for that warrant article if it goes over. We're very good in shape right now. We do have a, truck that's, 1980 that, we need to do some pump work on it, which could cost a few $1,000s to get it back in perfect shape to run. It's not, doesn't pass pump test, but it backs up as a, fourth pump if we need it. But that's how we've always kept it like that, and I've tried to keep it right to that. But we also have that cushion in that warrant article that was put in for if we had a major pump replacement or anything like that.
Fire department equipment, non-electronic.
We've added, this year, we added, with our new air packs, we need to buy rechargeable batteries.
Batteries, right.
With the charger, a 6 bang charger. So they use a lot of juice, so we need to charge them every time we use them in a battery pack.
What does one of those packs cost? One of the lithium packs, can you
Um,
ballpark it?
Do you have that paperwork I gave you? I think it's like $540 each,
$540 each,
yes.
on top of what did the whole device cost?
The whole thing is $2,430 with the air pack. Oh, the air pack,
Just under 6, wasn't it?
$61.50, I think it is.
Okay. And you have to replace the packs 2 or 3 times a year?
No. The packs we are to replace
I'm sorry,
recommended
the battery packs.
twice a year now.
Okay, thank you.
These the ones you had on display that time
Yes.
down at
Yeah.
the station?
Yep. Eventually, it'd be nice to get 6 plus 6 more.
Right.
If I have some money at the end of the year, I plan to buy the battery pack and the 6 batteries, and Matt can get another 6 next year.
Makes sense.
Other than that, we're purchasing batteries constantly.
Any other questions?
All set.
Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Matt, thank you. Why don't we move on to Rescue Squad? And that's on page 22. Next page. Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
We're at $56,574. Actual budgeted last year was $55,278.
Correct.
So we're not up a whole lot at all. Supplies are up about $1,000.
That's because of the EpiPens.
Yep,
Our EpiPens are really expensive.
understandable. And the telephone is up, looks like, $300.
That'll be the modem for the Life Pack 15.
Okay.
Yeah, the supplies, looks like it pretty much accounts for the whole.
Yeah, pretty much.
Almost the whole increase.
How you doing on equipment, Cindy?
We're doing okay on equipment.
No big purchases in the future? Nothing getting old?
The van.
Yeah, okay,
Other than that, no.
okay.
We've got 5 new employees coming on in January.
Good job.
Good job. Exactly. Anyone else have questions?
Looks good.
Thank you, Cindy. Chief Duquette, want to talk with us? We'll start with the police department on page 19. All right, so I'm looking at $752,516, up from $744,142. Do we have a full complement yet?
Not yet. One just got out of the academy, one in the academy. I still have one vacant.
And you have candidates?
Not right now.
Okay. Just going through, I'm looking for anything that stands out. I think we're looking at pretty much a level-funded budget, except in the increase in full-time wages, which is pretty much $10,000.
Correct. So I'm looking to kind of address the issue of keeping people here. I think we've fallen way behind, and I think that our pay range, we have a pay range that's I don't even know how old it is. What I would like to propose this year is implementing an actual pay scale, which I submitted to you folks.
Is that part of the budget now? Is that part of
That's
the?
what's in here right now, yes.
Okay.
That's only if you approve what I'm proposing to you. Other than that, it remains the same. So I provided that to you with somewhat of an explanation as to my reasoning behind it, and I also provided some data from 10 other communities in New Hampshire in regards to their pay scale right now. And it's not just the 3 surrounding us. I kind of went out and got a pretty good, group in there that you can look at. So it gives you something to compare it to see where I'm coming from.
How many officers did we lose this year to other towns?
Well, we really only lost, trying to think, I can't even keep track of it anymore. Really just the
Just
the
one?
one, yes, that we
Okay.
lost to another department. But, we small departments, we're training grounds, we all are, not just here in Deerfield. There's that lack of upward mobility and lack of specialization. And it really boils down to the one thing that we can control is how we compensate these folks. And I think what I proposed is it doesn't put us to the top. It doesn't keep us at the bottom. I think it's a pretty fair compromise.
What I'm seeing, and the part that I like the most, is we're not just talking about doing it next year. There are steps.
Well, I think it's important for, when you're hiring somebody new, it's very hard to say, we're randomly picking numbers out of the air, and I think it's very beneficial for someone to sit down and say, okay, so here's where we're starting you, and if you decide to stick around, this is where you can end
These
up.
are where
And
you're
it's
gonna
that,
end up.
that visual thing, it really, I mean, I think there are people that enjoy working in small towns, but I think we need to be more competitive to be able to do that. Because at the end of the day, that's a huge factor for people. So that's the only change in my budget. Everything else stayed
everything
the
else
same.
much the same.
Computer technology dropped like $4,700 because we bought a server this year that were good. Didn't need to be in there. Other than that, everything stayed the same.
Just- Go ahead.
What do we think about the proposed pay scale?
Great idea. You know what it really costs us when we lose somebody?
Yes.
Time they go through the academy, the overtime for the others, the part-time.
Yeah, by the time you hire somebody and you know, if you put them through the academy, you outfit them, uniforms, all their gear and everything, I mean, it's thousands and thousands of dollars. You know, you've got 16 weeks in the academy, you've got 8 weeks of field training.
So that's half a year right there.
It is, and you know, the last guy, we were able to keep here for 1 year and 9 months before he left to go somewhere else. A little discouraging.
So, in order for this to be included in the budget, we'd have to approve that pay scale.
Mhm.
Can we look at it and do it on the 16th?
You want to do it the 16th?
Yeah, I want
Yeah.
to just
Okay.
skim through it. It's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea, and I like the idea that down the road, the officer knows that he's not going to remain stagnant.
Wonderful.
Any other questions for the chief on the police budget?
Looks good.
All right, we'll move on to highway safety on page 27.
I make this real easy. Highway safety and animal control, no change at all in either one of those.
Highway
So the-
safety is $5.
Which is and animal control will be the other one that didn't change either.
All right, just so we're clear, I'm showing the 2017 budget for animal control is 6202, yet I'm showing a budget for 2008 proposed at 9102.
Oh,
Just, that is an increase, I'm seeing $3,600 in the part-time employee line. Going from budgeted at 3,000 last year to 5,600.
I'm not really sure what happened there. I didn't change, I'm sorry? Yeah, right. I didn't change anything in that budget, so I guess I don't have an answer for you right now.
The
And
2016
I don't have it in
budget
front of
was
me.
5,600.
Yeah.
The 2017 budget, though, was $6,202. The 2018 proposed is 9102.
I'll check into that.
That's a $3,600 increase on the part-time employee, and everybody out there is shaking their head, so that must be
Yeah.
an oopsie.
It is, I'm not really, and I don't have it in front
You
of me.
would propose a flat,
Yes, yeah, I
budget.
am. Yeah, I didn't make any changes to that at all, so I'm not sure where that's coming from.
16 got carried instead of 17
yeah,
to compare.
I'll look at it.
so we're looking at a 6202 budget again.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
yes.
Wonderful.
All right. And $5 for highway safety.
Good.
Excellent. Anyone have any other questions?
No, we'll review that pay thing and
We'll
hopefully
look
push
at that
that
pay
through.
thing on the 16th and see if we can't approve that. And I appreciate you taking the time to come up with that.
Yeah, and just where I place people in that is reflected in this budget, I didn't, like, if somebody has been here for 10 years, I did not place them in that 10-year mark because it would just, it would have been too much of an increase, so I started them where it raised it a little bit, but it gives them a starting point that's well below the years that they actually have on, but it's a starting point, and then they can move forward from there, so.
And I would say, even with the raises, we're not paying them enough. But I think it's a good start to get to that point.
Well, I like the idea of having a set program, so they
Yeah.
got something to look forward to.
Exactly. It's like the real world. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, chief.
Anyone have any ideas or information for future budget talks? Anything they want to see? Got a list for the 16th. All right.
Looks good.
Remember, the transfer station and building department is scheduled for the 16th as well.
Okay, we rescheduled them over to the 16th.
And we still have supervisors of the checklist to go over as well. That was rescheduled.
To the 16th.
We haven't picked a date. 16th is good? So we'll have to do the 23rd
It's all right.
during the day?
That would be on the 10th,
Okay,
so they could do the 16th.
okay. Thank you.
Very well. All right, review of outstanding minutes for the 26th.
That we do not have.
Oh, that's right. we
They
do
were
not
not
have-
ready.
They're not ready. Very well. Then I have an accounts payable manifest in the amount of $95,165.52.
Motion approved with a question.
Second?
Go ahead, what's your
Is
question?
that all the different, like D-Town and that, is that all for the part of that $126,000 grant? We're just drawing against it? A lot of
Yes. you can see-
contractors in town, Glen Young, D-Town, Blacktowns.
You can see on the actual invoices, it's actually listed to be applied to the grant.
It is all part of that?
Yes.
Okay. No other questions?
I believe the impact fees will be paying for the actual paving. All the groundwork and prep work is being paid for by the grant.
Thank you.
All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nothing for our signature. And nothing in correspondence. Town Administrator's report.
I have one item. Wes Gollum, a community member, wanted me to state publicly that October 4th is the Lamprey River cleanup day.
Anything for the Town Administrator?
Not at this time.
All right, I'm looking at unfinished business transfer station bid, which has been reviewed by Rick Pelletier.
That is correct.
And has he made a recommendation?
He's approved it. He recommends the board to approve it.
That was the Dustin Carpentry one?
Correct.
I don't have it with me, so.
I don't
That
have
was
it
the
with-
transfer station addition.
Right. Do we have the number?
It was around 18,000 something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just wondered at the time how that figured into what Rick was budgeting through
I
that.
can go get it.
Would you?
Yep.
Jeff, do you have new business?
Fred does.
Fred, you have new business?
Jeff, you want to do yours first?
No, I don't have any.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the Eversource had appeared before the planning board Wednesday night for a conditional use permit for work in wetlands off of Reservation Road and also off of Nottingham Road in proximity to the substation. And as a requirement for Eversource, the board called for them posting a bond for $20,000 to make sure that the work that is done is and the disturbance that occurs in the wetlands is returned to what the condition it is right now. And Eversource apparently dropped off the bond someplace in the building,
But nobody knows where.
but nobody knows where. The zoning ordinance calls for the bond to be reviewed by town council and approved by the Board of Selectmen. So I guess, I assume John will probably be able to find it tomorrow, the Eversource bond.
Yes.
And I don't know whether we need authorization from the board for John to just forward it to town council to review. And
When you find it, send it to the town council.
I believe it's here.
okay.
I'm glad that you believe it.
And we also require that they set an escrow account for the board's engineer to go out and review do a pre-construction, pre-activity inspection right now, and then one after to make sure that they've returned it to the conditions that they currently exist.
Perhaps you could call Eversource and explain to them that they may have dropped it off, but we have no idea where they dropped it off.
Yeah.
Very good.
You know, I think I do have something.
Go for it.
We received bids on the fencing for Hartford Brook.
Oh, good.
Town of Deerfield invitation to bid. The Town of Deerfield is seeking sealed bids for the construction of a backstop and fencing on the Hartford Brook field. The specifics of each job are below. Basically, it's backstop, two fences, supply and install 80 lineal feet of 6-foot high fence, and number 2 is supply and install 452 lineal feet of 4-foot high galvanized fence. Please mark each bid envelope clearly with 2017 Parks and Recreation Hartford Brook backstop. All bids must be received by the Board of Selectmen's office by no later than Friday, September 22nd at 2 o'clock. Apparently we only had one bid. It's from Vermont Recreational Surfacing and Fencing, who's done a lot of the work. And the price for all of it looks like $18,209.
Does that come out of the rec budget?
It comes out of
We
the
okay?
grant or
The grant that we
in
have.
the warrant article, whichever.
The warrant article will be used first. That needs to be used before the end of the year.
Yep.
The grant doesn't have a limitation on time.
So the Parks and Rec Commission looked at this, and do they have a recommendation for us to approve?
I haven't brought it to the commission yet. We
Okay.
meet Wednesday night, so
Alright.
I can do it then if you want, and then we
Would
can come back with it.
Okay.
You want a copy?
I'm good. You want a copy?
Those are for the rec commission.
Okay.
All right, so I now have the Dustin's Carpentry LLC bid of a post frame lean-to 16 foot by 50 attached to existing storage shed. Erected price to town specs, $18,100. A 6-inch concrete floor installed, $3,200 with a $200 extra if winter concrete if needed. So that is a total of 21,300? Am I
21.5.
21,500. How much do we have budgeted?
I do not have that
Was
figure.
that a warrant article, I believe?
That was being used, impact fees were being used.
Impact fees. Do we have enough money to cover
I
21,500?
believe so, yes.
At least we could get the building up.
The, Rick Pelletier has said that he recommends we take this bid. What do you feel?
Go with his
Yeah.
recommendation.
I would as well.
Make a motion that we go with the
Make a motion, we accept the bid.
And I will second it.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very well. Any other business of any kind? New, other, or unfinished? I do not believe we need a non-public session today. Citizens' comments. Mrs. Katie, can you get to the microphone? Take your time.
I was reading the Union Leader, I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday, but anyways, I saw that a town had put in a legal notice that they were having a public hearing to expend the road funds that were received. And I wondered if we had a public hearing.
I'm sorry.
The extra road funds that
Right,
were.
but you said that the advertisement said,
Not for our town, for another town.
okay, I'm sorry.
We had to accept it, but I-
Yeah.
I
we had a
thought
hearing-
we
we
had
had a
a
hearing for
public
that.
hearing. for it.
I believe we had a public hearing for it.
I just didn't see it anywhere, so.
I think we did.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.
See you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks. Mark, hell of a job one more time.
16th?
Huh?
Is that 2 weeks?
We were in the
Yes.
balcony.
Yeah, I know, thank you.
Remember I said we're gonna have a meeting on the 10th?
Thank you so much.
We're not meeting on the 10th, John?
Waved to you,
John,
Jimmy.
we're not meeting on the 10th.
We're not meeting on
Whatever, I
the 10th.
saw John.
Yeah, how do you miss
And I
that?
saw Kevin Gary with his wife.
No, we are meeting on the 16th.
See, we blend in a little.
This stays with you, Dick.
Yeah, I know.
It was nice. It's got
Never mind.
Pages? Yeah, I like to make them
That's
nice.
782.
Much
Place
better.
is good for 8. But with
That's
all
this
the-
one right here,
all
John.
the people that
Yeah, you like the pages?
I do.
And you got places for notes
Oh,
and
I
everything.
and I used it.
Well, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. They was out in the.
So
long did it
Matthew,
go?
how you doing?
I left after you.
he's got to be exhausted like
It went
some
from
other